I don't believe in ceasefires. It's like when you're doing surgery on cancer. You cannot do it in stages. You've got to go in and uproot cancer all at once in the same surgery and then follow up with chemotherapy, radiation, whatever is required to ensure that even after you uprooted all the cancer, that there's no chance whatsoever of any one cell remaining alive after surgery.
As talks of another deal with Iran heats up, one question remains. Can Iran actually be trusted? Brigitte Gabriel says the answer is no. She argues that Iran has lied to every American president for decades, and that what we're seeing right now isn't a genuine effort for peace. It's a strategy to buy time. Listen to what she just told Israel News Talk Radio.
Absolutely not. We cannot make a deal with Iran. We cannot trust any deal with Iran. At least not with the current Iranian leadership, the Islamic radicals who are running the country. If this was the replacement of the Shah, for example, with his son or somebody moderate that we can deal with, that's a different story. But what we are dealing with right now is we are dealing with the radical regime. And we don't really know exactly who's running the country right now. We know for a fact that the IRGC is controlling whoever. Basically, they are still running the country. It doesn't matter what the prime minister or whoever they're putting up as president. We don't even know if he's alive or dead, or whoever Ayatollah right now supposedly representing the country. We know that it's the radical element still running the country and calling the shots. And the only reason they want to make a deal with the United States or appear as if they want to make a deal is they are stringing the America along, trying to buy time. So now, after yesterday with the over the weekend, the deal, whatever that the Iranians want, and America may agree to the 60-day ceasefire, the biggest mistake we can make, because that takes the ceasefire into July, and by then you're basically talking a month before everybody's gearing up for the midterm election in the United States. And Iran is trying to drag this whole negotiation thing, trying to get President Trump as close as possible to the midterm, knowing that the Republicans would lose the midterm. The president is not going to get into a fight with Iran again and start bombing right before the midterm. America is very concerned about the war. They do not want war. Even within the conservative movement, there's an element like the Candace Owens and the Tucker Carlsons and the Megyn Kelly and the Steve Bannon who do not want war with Iran. They believe that Israel is convincing President Trump to get into the war with Iran, as if anybody can manipulate President Trump to do anything. The reality is Iran is lying. We cannot trust them. They have a track record of lying. This did not start yesterday. They have been lying from one administration to the other. They lied to the Obama administration. They lied to the first Trump administration. They lied to the Biden administration. And here we are again. So this is our only opportunity for the president to really tighten the screws on Iran. I believe President Trump understands the Iranian. He doesn't trust them. I'm not sure. He may know something that you and I, Tamar, are not privy to, that's making him make the decisions that he is making. President Trump is smart enough to know that you cannot trust the Iranians as much as he wants to make a deal. So there must be something behind the scenes that we do not know that's driving the president to do this. We'll see how this plays out. But I can tell you one thing for sure. The Iranians are going to have to be wiped out militarily, or their own people have to wipe the current leadership militarily. I know that President Trump will not leave office before the end of his term without making sure that Iran is no longer a threat to the United States. At least we can be assured of that. In the old days, we had something called patriotism. We came together. So people that immigrated to America, out of many, we became one. Uno pluribus unum is on our money. Out of many, we became one. People that came to this country wanted to be a part of the American fabric. They loved their country. They understood that in America, we had something better than many other nations across the world. They understood that the opportunities in America, human rights in America, the respect for the individual in America, the protection of the individual's right in America was something so sacred and so wonderful, very different than many other countries in the world, including our freedom of speech, for example. In the United States, you are able to criticize the president, you're able to criticize the vice president, you're able to criticize your member of Congress, and know that nothing's going to happen to you because you are protected under freedom of speech, contrary to many other countries. Like if you criticize the mullahs, if you're living in Iran. So, what we're seeing in America is that we have imported people or allowed people to come to our country, whether they came on student visas, whether they came as a part of the visa relocation programs, whether they came, however, they ended up in the United States. After October 7th in the United States, and even before October 7th, I mean, I take it back even for the last 10 years, we have seen a movement across the United States where the Islamists have been so emboldened that they wave their Palestinian flags or their ISIS flags or their Al Qaeda flags and burn the American flag and burn the Israeli flag and chant "Death to America" on our streets. And because of our freedom of speech, they have been able to get away with it. But right now, we are at a point in our country where the enemy is already within our borders. And our enemy is already working to brainwash the youth in our country. And not just the youth, they are brainwashing adults who don't know any better, who could care less about the Middle East. They never followed the news because it doesn't affect their lives. America is a big country, or anywhere in Europe, Europeans, Westerners, live and let live, we don't care what others do. So now we are seeing an element growing within our society that despises our culture, whether in Europe, whether in the United States, whether in Australia, whether in Canada. It doesn't matter what major Western country you point to. There's a radical Islamic element rising within these countries because of immigration that resents everything we stand for. And this became apparent, especially after we got into the war with Iran. Because right now, for example, at the beginning of the war, you saw a lot of European countries who did not want to get involved in the war because of the Islamic element within their nations. They were afraid to make any decisions because of the backlash internally, whether in France, whether in England, who did not even want to allow us to use our bases in Europe as America was at war with Iran. And the reason why they did not want us to use our bases in their European countries is because they were afraid of the big Islamic bloc and its political power in their nations, whether Germany, whether England, whether France, whether whatever country in Europe, members of NATO who were so afraid of their own people and their voting and their political influence within the country that affected their relationship with the United States. So now we are fighting a global enemy, Iran, who is developing a nuclear weapon. We knew they were developing it. Who wants to wipe Israel off the map. They want to attack America as well. They now have developed weapons that can reach any country in Europe. And so even with that, the Europeans were afraid to get into the fight. And this is a major problem because right now you are seeing the problem affecting the world, not just Israel. I don't believe in ceasefires. It's like when you're doing surgery on cancer. You cannot do it in stages. You've got to go in and uproot cancer all at once in the same surgery and then follow up with chemotherapy, radiation, whatever is required to ensure that even after you uprooted all the cancer, that there's no chance whatsoever of any one cell remaining alive after surgery. Hezbollah is the cancer of Lebanon. The Lebanese government is not a government. It's a shell of a government. Not only they do not have any power, a lot of them are sympathizers with Hezbollah because Hezbollah has purchased the government of Lebanon. Iran has purchased the government of Lebanon. So when you look at Nabi Berri, for example, who's been on the payroll, we found out, who's the head of the Shia, who's been getting paid $500,000 a month from the Iranians for all these years. Nabi Berri is in the pocket of Hezbollah. He's not going to change. So you've got all the corrupt people in the government who are the government. So what we need to do, the best scenario that I see right now for Lebanon, do not do a ceasefire. Even the Christians in Lebanon do not want a ceasefire. I know that because I talk to my Christian friends in the south, in Beirut, all over the place. They do not want a ceasefire. They want Israel to just finish the job, kill them all, and drive them out. What the Christians in Lebanon really want and this is what they are hoping and working on right now, is getting all the Shiites who have been replaced out of South Lebanon, driven out of South Lebanon, go to Iraq. Go to Iraq, build a life in Iraq. There's a lot of Shiites in Iraq. Go there, go to Iran, get out of Lebanon. Their towns have been demolished, bulldozed. They're not going to be able to go back and build. Get them out of Lebanon to another country. So instead of them sleeping on the streets in Lebanon, they can go live in another Shiite country. If we can make that happen, then a lot of Christians who are maybe living overseas, who left Lebanon because of the war, will be able to go back, build, invest, etc. But looking at the status quo right now, it cannot happen. Even the Lebanese army is against the Lebanese people. Don't listen to this facade that they talk about. Oh, the Lebanese army is working. They're going to disarm Hezbollah. I was just talking to my friends in Marjayoun, okay? Marjayoun, right on the border with Metula. They are so angry that the Lebanese army is still in town at the military base, that that Israel has not been able to advance and seal off Marjayoun the way it did with other Christian towns, because now the military, the Lebanese army at the base in Marjayoun is threatening the Lebanese people, the Christian people of the town, calling them traitors, calling them for private interrogation, and calling them traitors to Israel. You are agents of Israel. This is what's happening now between the Lebanese army, who's supposedly protecting the Christians of the town. That's what they're doing to the Christians of the town, because they're all Hezbollah operatives. And so the Lebanese army is Hezbollah. The Lebanese government is not only cowards, but they also have Hezbollah. So Israel has to do whatever Israel has to do to finish the job. You worked with Israel. You are agent of Israel. We cannot trust you. And so people are afraid to open their mouth. And even people in America who have relatives in Beirut who are Lebanese or who, they are afraid to speak up, because what if somebody found out we said something? Yeah, they're going to go back and kill our aunts, uncles, cousins, nephews, nieces in Beirut. So everybody's lips are tied because they are afraid for their lives. As you know, women in the Middle East do not have any rights in the majority Islamic countries. And even in Lebanon, do you know I cannot I don't have a Lebanese citizenship anymore because Lebanon revoked it in 2006 because I'm a friend with Israel. So in 2006, I was giving an interview on CNN. This is in the 2006 war when Israel went into Lebanon. And I wrote an article saying, bomb them, talking about Hezbollah. And so CNN had an interview with me. As I was leaving the studio, getting in my car in front of the studio, I got a call on my cell phone. I answered the call. It was somebody from the Lebanese embassy saying, consider your Lebanese citizenship revoked. This is back in 2006. And now they want me dead by absentia because I'm friends with Israel and I sided with Israel, etc. But if I was still a Lebanese citizen, as a woman, my children will never be Lebanese citizens because I don't have the right as a woman to pass my citizenship to my children, because women don't have right in Lebanon. This is what most people don't understand, which is mind-boggling. People in the West assume that, in Lebanon and Beirut, people party, women have rights, they have a right for an education, they can do whatever they want. Yes, but they don't even have basic rights to decide. If I got married to somebody, I can keep my citizenship and I can pass it to my children. And so this gives you a glimpse. And by the way, Lebanon is the most modernized, civilized, because we were majority Christians. We have mostly majority Christian laws in the country, that even in Lebanon, we cannot do that. So as a businesswoman in the United States, I came here with almost nothing, and I built a life from nothing to what I am today. Because in America, the sky is the limit. In the Middle East, you don't have that. Women do not have a right to get a passport without the permission of their father, their husband, their guardian, or whatever. They need the permission from their father or their husband to be able to work or go to college. And, we take it for granted in America that, or in any Western nation, that we actually have the right to decide over our bodies, over our mind, what we want to do with our lives.
What do you think? Can Iran be trusted? Or is Brigitte Gabriel right that this is simply the latest chapter in a decades-long pattern of deception? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this clip, be sure to watch our full conversations on Stand Tall Israel, where we discuss Israel, Iran, Hezbollah, Lebanon, radical Islam, and the growing threats facing the West. Don't forget to subscribe to Stand Tall Israel for more conversations to challenge the narrative. And please consider becoming a member. If you have a 401k or an IRA, please listen. Gold is at record highs. What many people don't know is this: you can move part of your retirement money legally and without tax penalties into physical gold you actually own. Alpha Omega Gold helps you do this through a gold IRA. Your gold is real. It is stored safely. It is in your name. Learn more at ao.gold/stand. Alpha Omega Gold is our sponsor, and they proudly stand with Israel.